Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Darius Rucker brings his signature sound to Wolf Trap tomorrow night in Virginia. We spoke in 2016 about his transition from Hootie and the Blowfish to becoming the first black solo country artist to go #1 since Charlie Pride in 1983. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. Oh, yeah, man. We like to make our shows parties, just have a good time and, play some music that people want to hear and, high energy and just, it's all about trying to just get people to have fun and have a party and for an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, and then they can go home back and go back to their lives.
Yeah, nothing's more fun than one of them outdoor country concerts. It's hard to believe. It's really been 8 years since you've gone country, as Alan Jackson put it. You used to probably have to do all those interview tours with what's it like making the transition, but what's it like now, being part of the fabric of the industry now?
Yeah, it's great. You're right. It doesn't seem like 8 years at all, but you're right. It was like, early on, not knowing what was going to happen and trying to get in and trying to be a part of it. And now, 8 years later, being a member of the Opry and all the great stuff and just really being a part of country music, it feels great. It feels like exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I'm having a blast.
What's that sort of transition like? Because a lot of artists have done that in recent years, come over from other genres and found a really nice home in country. I mean, Nashville's been pretty welcoming to a lot of different genres, especially in recent years. Is there sort of like a resistance from the insiders at first, or are they pretty open?
Oh, absolutely. Everybody's calling me carpetbagger and stuff like that. When I first started, it really was like a lot of people who are friends of mine now said, I never thought I'd play your music, and it was one of the things that people just it's pretty open, but they look at you with skeptic eyes, like, why are you coming over to country music? Why do you want to be over here? And I think just me and going around, like you said, doing radio tours and stuff like that, and just meeting people, they realized how much I really do love country music, and I think that helped me a lot when it was time to get in.
Where did that, you mentioned your love, where did that sort of come for you, growing up? Did you have sort of certain artists that you were, that you really dug back in the day when you were first introduced to country?
When I was young, it was Kenny Rogers and Buck Owens and Hee Haw was my show, and I loved it. And then when I got a little older and discovered bands like Nancy Griffith, Newgrass Revival, and Dwight Yoakam and Foster and Lloyd, those bands just blew my mind and made me go, man, I want to make a country record someday.
And then you finally did. Take me back. I want to get to your new album, definitely. But if you don't mind, if we can roll pretty quick chronologically through your 4 previous ones. Take me back to that first album, Learn to Live. I mean, Don't Think About It blew up. All Right, It Won't Be Like This for Long. History to Make. Like, it had a ton of hits on it. Were you surprised at how much that sucker blew up?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I just when I got my record deal, I was first shocked that I got a record deal, and that I just wanted to make a good enough record that they let me make another one. And, when Don't Think About It went to #1, it was like, wow, this is really happening. And then, the 2 other songs went to #1, and History got the top 5. And it was just like, wow, this is really happening. It's working. And they'll definitely let me make another record.
That's awesome. Well, and you did make another, and I thought, what was it, Charleston, South Carolina, 66.
Yeah.
I thought Comeback Song was just a geniusly titled song because it was, one of them double meanings.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. I wrote that song with Chris Stapleton and Casey Beathard, and I remember that was the last song we wrote for the record, and I remember that session so well, and we wrote it and didn't think it was going to be on the record and decided to cut it. It was the first single. And you're right, it was like the perfect double entendre, for me to put out a song called Comeback Song.
Definitely. And then moving into your third album, you had a couple hits, Radio, and of course, Wagon Wheel. Take me into, because that song is a favorite on people singing it at college campuses, at bars, football games, from the Bob Dylan to Old Crow Medicine Show. But how did you sort of make that one your own?
It was crazy. I decided to cover it one night when I heard it at my daughter's high school talent show. The teachers had started playing it, and they were playing it really country. I'd never really thought about cutting it because I love the song, and I'm a huge Old Crow fan, but I just thought it was so bluegrass. I never thought about making it a country song until I heard it that way, and so I decided, let's cut it. And even after we cut it and put Lady A on it, I didn't think it was going to be a single. And then it was, and it just got a life of its own. That song just took off, and it was a shocker. And watching it, like yesterday, I was in a restaurant and they played, over the
Yeah.
music act. So I was like, this is crazy. This song's still getting played a lot, but yeah, I didn't expect it to be as big as it was. That's for sure.
You are everywhere now, man. All right, well, compare sort of your most recent one, your fourth album, Southern Style, with the new one you're working on. I think you just had a single come out, right? If I Told You, I think it came out like this month.
Yeah.
And the album comes out when this year?
Later this year or early next year. We're still debating when it's going to come out, but I got to finish it first. but this record's going to be just a little different. I've changed producers and stuff, and we just you try to be a little different on every record, but with this one it just seems like even a song. If I Told You, something I don't think I'd ever done a song like that before, and it was cool getting it out and seeing what it would do, and now it's just all about being true to what we want to do. And this new record, I think, is going to sound a little different. It's going to be a little different, and I hope my fans will dig it.
Yeah, definitely. If our listeners come out, they're going to hear all these great songs. Do you ever mix in any of the old Hootie stuff, any encores?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think I'd be ripping people off if I didn't play Hootie songs every night. So, yeah, every night I play some of the bigger hits and a couple cool covers. Like I said, I just want to have a party, man. I just want to have fun, and if it's not fun, it's not worth doing.
Yeah, definitely. Looking back at those years, I mean, it's if you look up the numbers and the stats on like Cracked Rear View, it's one of the biggest albums of all time. With Let Her Cry, Only Want to Be With You. Like, take me sort of into where you were before that album really popped and what it was like when that really blew up.
Oh man, before that we were playing clubs on the East Coast. From New York down to Florida, just every 6 weeks playing the same club. We were doing well, and we were selling out everywhere we were going and doing well and selling, selling our little EP out of the back of our van and doing well with that. But once Crack Review came out and once the David Letterman show happened, it was like, wow, it was just a rocket. And it was, but we were lucky. We had each other, and our career, we had been a band for 8 or 9 years at that time, and so our career just grew so slowly that when that actually hit, we just didn't feel like it was anything different. We just felt like our career was taking the step it was supposed to take, and we didn't really think about the record sales or anything. No, we were seeing that the shows were getting a lot bigger, and that was really the way we saw it, and so we just kept doing what we were doing.
Yeah, I actually, I always really loved your Fairweather Johnson too at Tuckerstown, and to me, Old Man and Me is one of my favorites. When you do that, When I Get There, I just think it's amazing.
Well, thank you.
And then didn't you also do something on the Friends soundtrack? The I Go Blind. Yeah.
I Go Blind. That's a 5440 song. This 5440 is a Canadian band that we fell in love with, and yeah, they put that on the Friends soundtrack, and that song just took a mind of its own too. I mean, it went crazy.
Awesome. What's the latest on the? Are you guys? Did you do a reunion lately? I thought, or were you going to?
We play every year. We get actually this weekend we have 2 shows here in Charleston where I live, and it's the charity shows that we do every year here, and we're still a band. Someday we'll get back together and do a tour, but we're going to do it when it's right.
Right. But in the meantime, come out and see Darius. You'll hear some of the old Hootie stuff and a lot of the new stuff. Final question I got to ask you. Football season's coming up. I know you're a big South Carolina Gamecocks guy. And do the Dolphins still make you cry too? Are you getting ready for football season?
Oh, I'm so ready for football season. I was talking to my son about that last night. He's a Packer fan, and the Hall of Fame games this weekend. And I was just like, football's right around the corner. And for me, there's 2 times a year for me. There's football season and waiting for football season. So I'm about done waiting for football season. I'm ready to watch football.
Do the Dolphins still make you cry?
Not after that 1-15 season. After that season, I decided I'm not going to cry over the Dolphins anymore.
You guys still had the only undefeated season, so you'll take it. Yeah. Awesome. Well, Darius Rucker, thanks so much for taking the time. It was awesome talking to you. And everybody come out. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Take care.
I caught up with Darius again at the 2016 Kennedy Center Honors, where he paid tribute to James Taylor, Mavis Staples, Al Pacino, and the Eagles. Thanks so much for joining us on Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Remember to hit the subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time. I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.